Today, we are taking a tour of the US Navy's most powerful weapons. And I mean, we're talking about technology that feels like it's been pulled right out of a science fiction movie. So yeah, let's get right into it. So let me ask you this to get us started. What do you picture when you hear about a $500 million cannon that uses zero gunpowder? Instead, it just uses raw electricity to launch a solid chunk of metal at unbelievable speeds. Well, that's the naval railgun. And believe it or not, it's just the beginning of our tour. So here's our game plan. We're gonna start with that crazy sci-fi tech. Then we'll get into the missiles that are really the backbone of the fleet. After that, we'll look at some other versatile attack systems, the all-important last line of defense, and then wrap up with the awesome air power that carriers bring to the fight. All right, first up, the Sci-Fi Arsenal. This is the really cutting-edge stuff, weapons that are completely changing the rules of naval warfare. So what is a railgun really? Well, forget everything you know about gunpowder and explosions. This thing uses an incredibly powerful electromagnetic field to slingshot a metal slug down a set of rails. The projectile itself has no explosives, none at all. Its power comes from pure mind-blowing speed and the kinetic energy it slams into a target with. And just how fast are we talking? Well, back in a 2008 test, the Navy's railgun launched a projectile at over 8,200 feet per second. That's more than Mach 7, folks. 7 times the speed of sound. When something is moving that fast, the very air around it turns into plasma. It's just wild. And all that incredible speed translates directly into range. We're talking about a range of up to 100 miles, which is way, way beyond what traditional naval guns can do. That gives a warship a massive advantage, letting it strike from way over the horizon. So what happens when it hits? The energy delivered was measured at over 10 megajoules. Now, to put that into perspective, that's like a 1-ton car slamming into a wall at 160 miles per hour. The point is, you don't really need an explosive warhead when you're hitting something with that much raw force. But, and this is a big but, here's the twist in the story. Despite all that power, the US has actually put the brakes on the railgun's development. Why? Well, there were huge technical challenges. I mean, the enormous amount of power it needed, the fact that the barrels basically destroyed themselves after a few shots, it was tough. So strategically, the focus has shifted a bit towards hypersonic missiles and, you guessed it, the next futuristic idea, directed energy. And that brings us to the big difference between these two futuristic concepts. A railgun fires a physical bullet, that's kinetic force. A laser, on the other hand, is all about directed energy. It shoots a focused beam of light to literally burn through or disable a target. And this isn't just a theory anymore. Back in 2020, the USS Portland actually used its laser system to shoot down a drone. So this tech is officially at sea and working. Okay, so from the far future, let's come back to the here and now. Next up, we're diving into the missile arsenal. These are the undisputed workhorses, the primary long-range punch of the modern Navy. And right at the heart of that arsenal, you've got the legendary Tomahawk cruise missile. I mean, for decades, this has been the go-to weapon for hitting targets on land from far out at sea. It's basically a jet-powered, all-weather missile that ships and submarines can launch to hit targets with incredible precision. So how does it stay on target over hundreds of miles? Well, it uses this brilliant system called TRCOM, which stands for Terrain Contour Matching. It's so clever. Before it's even launched, a super detailed digital map is loaded into it. Then, as it's flying low, its radar is constantly scanning the ground, matching the real-world hills and valleys to its internal map. It's basically navigating by reading the Earth, so it doesn't even need GPS. But the Tomahawk is just one part of a much bigger family of missiles. As you can see, there's a lot of diversity here. You've got things like the Naval Strike Missile for hitting ships and land targets, and then the whole family of Standard missiles, which are absolutely essential for defending the fleet against planes and other incoming missiles. It's all about having the right tool for the right job. But here's the catch, the Achilles heel, if you will. Unlike a railgun or a laser that could theoretically fire all day, these missiles have to be reloaded. And trying to crane a 1,000-pound missile into a narrow tube on the deck of a ship that's rolling around in the ocean, well, it's incredibly difficult and super dangerous. It's so tricky, in fact, that it almost always has to be done safely back in port. Now let's broaden our tour a bit. It's not all about long-range missiles. The Navy has some seriously potent weapons for dealing with threats below the waves, and some pretty innovative ways to strike land, too. When you're dealing with submarines, the weapon of choice is the torpedo. And these things are not filled with just any old explosive. Nope. They use a special compound called Torpex, which is about 50% more powerful than TNT. A torpedo, like the Mark 54, packed with Torpex, can hunt down and destroy an enemy sub from nearly 10,000 yards away. And check this out for a clever bit of adaptability. The Navy has been experimenting with just strapping the Army's truck-mounted HIMARS rocket system right onto the deck of a ship. It's a brilliant move, really. It gives them this super flexible system that can fire a whole range of Army rockets and missiles, just adding another powerful tool to their toolkit. Okay, a warship is an incredibly valuable thing, right? So defense is every bit as important as offense. So now we're going to look at the final, automated shield that protects these ships. This is the absolute last line of defense. People often call it a wall of steel. This is the Phalanx Close-In Weapon System, or CIWS for short. Its job is simple, and it's brutal. Destroy anything and everything that gets past all the other layers of defense. We're talking anti-ship missiles, helicopters, small boats. If it gets too close, the Phalanx takes it out. So how does it create that wall of steel? With an absolutely insane rate of fire. The Phalanx's Gatling cannon can spew out up to 4,500 rounds every minute. The whole idea isn't to hit the target with one perfect shot. It's to saturate the air with so many projectiles that the target simply has no way to get through. And this is the beast that makes it all happen. A 20mm 6-barrel Gatling cannon. The reason it has 6 barrels is so it can maintain that extreme rate of fire without just melting into a puddle. It's a completely self-contained, radar-guided system. Pretty much the final robotic guardian of the ship. And for our final stop, we turn to the aircraft carrier. Now, the ship itself is a floating fortress, but its ultimate weapon isn't a gun or a missile tube. No, it's the entire air wing it carries. That's over 70 aircraft. We're talking fighters, electronic warfare jets, command and control planes, the whole shebang. It turns a patch of empty ocean into a sovereign airbase that can project power for hundreds of miles. But behind all of this unbelievable high-tech hardware, there's the human element, and it's absolutely critical. On the controlled chaos of a carrier's flight deck, if you see sailors in red jerseys, those are the ordnance men. They are the highly trained experts who handle, prepare, and load every single bomb and missile onto those F-18s and F-35s. Without them and their expertise, that powerful air wing is just a bunch of very expensive, unarmed planes. You know, we've seen some incredible things today. Railguns firing projectiles at 7 times the speed of sound, lasers that can swat drones out of the sky, missiles that can read the ground they're flying over. And it kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. As these weapons get more and more powerful, what is the ultimate cost of deterrence? Because the hope, of course, is that a weapon this powerful never ever has to be used.